Yo, so mouse pads. What makes a good mouse pad? Well, Artisan kinda answered that with their mouse pads. So I had a lot of mouse pads. My latest mouse pad was the Artisan Hien, which is a speed pad. And now I just got myself a HAYATE OTSU, which is more of a hybrid pad. However, it is closer to the Hien than it is to the Zero, which is a control pad, which is really slow. So every Artisan product, they have really high quality across the board. Their textures are really high quality on top. The stitched edges are really good. And also the rubber base is really rubbery and it really sticks to the desk, which I honestly wouldn't know since I don't use it like that. I have a pad on top of a pad, but it still never moved on me, which is really good. So why did I get the HAYATE OTSU? I had the Hien then. Well, the Hien is a really insane speed pad. It's really good. But the thing is, it doesn't have that much control. It has the most control that a pad of its speed can have, but the speed for me is too high since I play Valorant, and the Hien is not really recommended when playing Valorant, which kind of needs a lot of control. So slower pads like the Zero are the best when playing Valorant, but for me, I found that the HAYATE OTSU is kind of the best for me, which in terms is the best for that game for me. So what's the difference between those two pads? Let's compare them. The Artisan Hien is a speed pad. It has more speed, less control, and the tracking is not as consistent because it's kind of hard. However, the HAYATE OTSU is slightly slower than the Hien. It has better and more consistent axes, horizontal and vertical movement. It's like closer to each other, which is really good. The horizontal movements are closer to the vertical movements in terms of feel, which gives a more consistent feel overall when moving your mouse all around, and that really goes a long way. It's probably not that noticeable, but it is really nice to feel. It's really nice to have there. It's kind of like input lag. You really want to have the least you can, but it's not going to be like that noticeable like ever. It's slightly noticeable, which is the same thing with the pads. So how does this pad have such good consistency with horizontal and vertical axes? That would be the texture, but also the pattern that they used for the texture. So if you see closely, the HAYATE OTSU has more of a wavy kind of zigzag pattern, which helps it be more consistent with those two axes, which is honestly kind of innovative to think about when it comes to mouse pads. Like, which other mousepad brand would do this, you know? None. It's Artisan. We love innovation. We love things that actually work, and Artisan actually works. Now, let's also compare the tracking. Tracking on this pad feels amazing. It's probably the best tracking pad you can find, honestly, especially compared to the Hien. I had, like, within the first day I got the pad, I instantly got high scores in aim lab in like so many different tasks. Most of them were tracking tasks, so this goes to say that this pad is really good with tracking. You can actually feel it. Also, if you come from a Hien and go on to a HAYATE OTSU, you're gonna feel the tracking difference. You're gonna feel that it's slightly slower, which I like since I play Valorant. And I am not the type of person to get a slow pad like the Zero. I have tried cloth pads before that are slow, and they kind of feel too slow for me. I like the flexibility of being able to move around fast and be fast, and the kind of drag that comes with cloth pads is I'm not a fan of, but that also goes without saying that that's just me. A lot of people love the Zero, and honestly, I would much rather have the Zero than any other cloth pad. If you're comfortable with the Zero and you play games such as Valorant or CSGO, then you're set basically. If you play Apex, you're gonna love the HAYATE OTSU instead of the Hien, since the tracking is amazing. The Hien is recommended, I guess, if you play Fortnite, which the Hien and the OTSU compared with each other, we can see the glide, the difference in glide. I'm gonna try and put the same strength. It is slightly slower, and I love that. It's so good. I am so happy with it. I'm really comfortable with it, and it's only been like 2 days maybe. I would recommend it. It might actually be the safest pad that there is, since if you don't know what you like, you're not a control pad fan, you're not a speed pad fan. So this is like kind of in the middle, kind of not. It's also slightly faster. And I do think that this is like the safest pad that Artisan has to offer, and maybe like that any manufacturer or like brand has to offer. It is kind of safe, and I like that. It's really nice, really high quality, like all around the board. It is innovative pattern and design for the texture on top, and I mean, you cannot go wrong, honestly. The Artisan pads are the best pads. I mean, that's a given at this point. I'm not sure if anyone disagrees with that. The people that disagree with that are probably people that never used Artisan pads in their life, and they're just hating because it's expensive, or because they have to pay import fees for them, which are from Japan. And if you're one of those people, please stop. But also, I don't really care. And yeah, I mean, that is my first impression and kind of feel of the Artisan HAYATE OTSU. I do think that it's really good. I honestly love it a lot. I do think that the potential of my ability is slightly higher now than it was before, since you had restrictions in Valorant with the Hien. It's too fast. It lacks control. But yeah, also kind of dabble in Apex, so having a nice smooth tracking feel is gonna go a long way. But yeah, I do think that this pad is gonna fit most people. So yeah, regardless the games you play, are a good indication of what you will need, but they are not set in stone. So I obviously play Valorant, but I do not like control pads, and I do think that this pad is really good for me. It's like really perfect, especially for Valorant for me. But yeah, it just goes to say that there's nothing really set in stone, and people are different, preferences are different. What makes Artisan pads different is that they are resistant to humidity, which is honestly a huge must in a mouse pad, since humidity is not just for, oh, I spilled my water on my pad. It's for consistency in the long run. So if you get a new pad that is not resistant to humidity, and like 4 months pass, you're like in a semi-humid place, but not that much, the pad still is gonna feel different than when you got it. So where's the consistency, you know? Whereas if you get a humidity resistant pad, it's gonna last you way longer, it's gonna feel much greater in the long run, and you're not gonna have to buy one every 4 months. So it is a no-brainer when it comes to mouse pads. And that is exactly why Razer released Razer Strider, which is a Hien clone that completely ripped off everything, but at the same time it kind of had to happen, since that's what a good mousepad is, you know? That's all I have to say, I guess. Again, I'm not going to tell you what to do. I'm just here to share my experience with the Hien and the Otsu. So I really do prefer the Otsu for now, and I do think that there's going to be a higher potential with this mousepad for me specifically. So yeah, you'll never know until you try them, honestly, but you can get a good idea of like which one you probably should get. So yeah, that's all I have to say. It is what it is. You do you. If you have any questions, leave them down below, I guess. If you disagree, you're wrong. If you enjoyed, sub and like. Hope you enjoyed this kind of thoughts on the Otsu. And yeah, okay, bye.